Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first lecture in a journey. Um, Hope to start with you about discovering ancient Egyptian mysteries and ancient Egyptian spirituality and a lot of beautiful things related with our ancient Egyptian culture. My name is Ali Habib. This is my name, and for my friend is that's the first time to meet. This is some information about me. I am a tour guide, specific in Egyptology and reading and translating ancient Egyptian text. I can read hieroglyphic text from the wall of the tombs and temples and also in ancient papyrus. And I love so much to search about the Egyptian texts related to the energy science, healing, astronomy, sacred geometry, and so on. A few years ago, about 5 years ago, I start my journey of collecting, translating, comparing between ancient Egyptian text and the modern knowledge and other schools like Indian school and Japanese school, Chinese school, Judaism, Christianity, Sufism, and Islam. So I started to make this effort, and I establish Simatawi Online Center for Egyptian Mystical Studies to share my information about everything in ancient Egyptian school of spirituality. So this is me, Ali Habib, and let's start to speak about our lecture today. Our lecture today, we will explain a lot of beautiful knowledge, informations from ancient Egypt to able to understand the ancient Egyptian mind, how our ancestors live their life and how they look and how their vision about the aspect of life, concept of life. So we will explain about these things to understand the Egyptian mind. If we started to look at the Egyptian civilization, we will find ourselves in the front of what we called in English ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses. In ancient Egypt, all the civilization and all the daily life, the acts of all civilization in ancient Egypt was around what they called in ancient Egyptian language Nitiru. Nitiru. This is the ancient term, ancient Egyptian language term, Nitiru. The acts of ancient Egyptian civilization. What is the Nitiru? When we want to make deep understanding of Egyptian mind, we have to understand the concept of Nitiru. Nitiru in ancient Egypt, or what we called gods and goddesses with modern language, was the main idea and the center of everything in ancient Egypt around Nitiru, around gods and goddesses. Nitiru, if we want to understand the concept in Nitru. The Nitru in ancient Egyptian concept, it's the various power of the god that manifested in the universe. Nitru, like Osiris, Isis, Horus, Sekhmet, Thoth, Ma'at, Nephthys, and so on. All these names in ancient Egyptian language called Nitru. And these names, gods and goddesses, the various power of the god that manifested in the universe and also manifested within us. So each one of us has many, several, and have 13 different power of the God. So when the God created human being, and when the God created the universe in the Egyptian concept, in ancient Egyptian concept, when the God created the universe and he created us, he put all his power inside all things in the universe and also inside ourselves. So when you listen about Sekhmet, Thoth, Betah, Osiris, and so on, this is the various power of the God that manifested inside the universe and inside ourselves. So our ancient Egyptian civilization started from this point. And by the way, the word in ancient Egyptian language, the word Nitiru, entered in ancient in English language and become nature. Nitiru become nature in English. And nature is our different qualities and different power and different sides of ourselves. So Nitru, the power of the God that manifested inside universe and inside ourselves. In ancient Egypt, they divided the Nitru, the power of the gods, to 13 sections. What is the sections of the gods' power in ancient Egypt, and what is the benefit for each section of it? The sections of Nitru, the power of the God, and the benefit, that effect of its attraction, effect, stimulation on different aspects of life. So when we know the different power of the God that manifested in universe and manifested in ourselves, there are a lot of benefits. This powers, when we discover it and when we stimulate it, it attract and effect and the benefit in all the aspects of our life. You will be able to attract all your needs from material and physical life, your practical life, your mental life, your emotional life, your spiritual life. So our ancestors divided the names and the different power of the God to a lot of sections. Some of them give you charisma, give you success, give you stability. Some of them give you joy, happiness, love, peace. Some of them give you positions, beautiful destiny, um, intuition. Some of them give you inner power. Some of you of this power give you intelligence, clever mind. So a lot of sections of Nitru, a lot of sections of a lot of groups of divine power of the God, and a lot of different benefits in different aspects of life. So if you want to discover yourself, and if you want to discover the divinity inside yourself, if you want to discover the divinity manifested in the universe and how to benefit, you have to study each section and each letter. You have to study what is the meaning of Ra, Ammon, Tifnut, Ma'at, Thot, and so on. So our ancestors make different groups and different aspects. So now we have to ask, how can we stimulate the divine power within us? If the God manifested his different power inside ourselves and in universe, how can we able to stimulate this divine power within us? Number one, if you wanted to stimulate and benefit from the divine power inside yourself and universe, number one, you have to know yourself. You have to know yourself, study yourself and your components, physical part, spiritual parts. In ancient time, our ancestors in ancient Egypt speaks that each one of us, or the human being, consists of a lot of parts. We have physical body in ancient Egypt called Ghet, by ancient Egyptian language, Ghet. We have soul in ancient Egypt called Ba. We have 14 spirit or 14 etheric bodies in ancient Egypt called Ka. Ka. Or also we have a shadow in ancient Egypt called Khibit. And each part of our components has its job, has its order in our life. So your physical body is very, very important. If you know the mechanism of your physical body and the importance of each organ in your physical body, you will be able to discover the divinity manifested inside yourself. If you able to understand the concept of soul, from where the soul came, how the soul, how you can able to make the soul re-shiny, radiant again, you will be able to reach to the success in your life. About your 14K and related between 14K and the healing power. So each part on your human being has a very, very important side and has effect in your physical consciousness, emotional consciousness, and so on. So the first step to understand, to uncover, to discover your divine abilities, divine power, to start about understanding yourself and your components. The second step, if we want to stimulate the divine power and unleash the divine power inside ourselves, we have to study manifestation of the divine power and forces in the surrounding universe. We have to look around us with bird eye, with deep vision, and start to search what behind physical world, what beyond, to start to search about metaphysics, the spiritual energy behind each thing around us. So we have to search about the divinity that manifested inside everything around us. For example, the divinity of the sky. The sky in ancient Egypt, they look at the sky and found the sky has sun, moon, and 5 planets, the equal 7. And they decided to call and titled this 7 group of sky Sefech Ba'unitru, the 7 divine power at the sky. So if you study this divine power and how the sun, moon, and the planets affected in our life, you will reach to the divinity and you will able to deal your life and deal your daily activity with the movement of sun, moon, and the planets. And you will be feel more power in your life. This is one. You have to search and discover about the divinity in the earth, the power of the earth, precious stones, semi-precious stones, and how every or each stone affect, how each stone vibrate, and how this vibrate affect in our consciousness. So you have to search about the power of the earth. You have to search about the planets, planets, the planets and the healing power of each planets and the spiritual effect of each plant look like lotus flower and so on. You have to search about birds and how each bird, each animal has a spiritual power able to stimulate, influence you, inspire yourself, inspire your soul, inspire your spirit. So the second step to discover the divinity by Egyptian school way, to deep look about the universe, sky, earth, and all birds, plants, animals, stones, and so on. So if you discover the power, the divine power that manifested in everything, you can able to benefit from all this to make your life more healthy, more success, more strong, more clever, So you can able to build glory and build success, build legacy. The third step in the way to discover the divinity inside yourself and inside the universe. To study the spiritual educational teachings, that organize the person's style life and stimulate the divine power within you. So, in ancient Egypt, our ancestors built a lot of temples from south to the north. And each temple in ancient Egypt, they called the temples Berba, the houses of the soul. Berba, houses of the soul. And each temple ruled by a group of priests, and each temple teach the followers and the comers and the visitors of this temple, teach the visitor of this temple a lot of spiritual educational principles. So every temple has different principles. For example, if you visit Philae Temple at Philae Island, this temple for power of Isis. So if you visit this temple, you will find yourself surrounded by a lot of inscriptions in the wall of the temple speak about the principles of Isis. And if you study the principle of Isis, you will be more success in your life, no more suffering in your life. Your salvation day will come. You will be able to reach a high position in the souls, eyes, and the hearts of all the creations. So if you follow the principle of Isis, you will benefit that success, leadership, salvation, no more suffering, no more struggling. So this the first temple. If you visit another one, Temple of Khnum at Elephantine Island, there another different principles there. So you have to visit each temple and start to learn the principle related with this temple. We have principle of Ma'at at Philae, principle of Khnum at Elephantine Island, principle of Sobek and Horus at Komombo, principle of Hur Simatawi at Edfu, principle of Ra at Karnak, principle of Amun at Luxor, principle of Hathor at Dendera, principle of Osiris at Abydos, principle of Thoth and Ma'at at Ilminia. So principle of Sekhmet and Betah at Memphis, at Giza. So many temples with different principles. And each group of principles stimulate and benefit and influence you in one aspect of life. These principles will support you in your success, glory, legacy, charisma, leadership in your life. But these principles will support you to build healthy relationship, good leadership. But this principle will support you in your emotional life. So a lot of things. This principle support your wisdom, your vision, your intuition. So we have a lot of schools in ancient Egypt teach a lot of different educational spiritual teachings. So if you want to discover the divinity power inside yourself and inside inside our surround universe, you have to study each principles of these temples. So this is the third step. You have to explore it. Fourth step of the way to discover the divinity. You have to know, understand ritual and ceremonies to activate divine power. How can I activate the divine power inside myself? How can I activate the power of Sekhmet inside myself to able to make self-healing? How can I activate the power of thought inside myself to be able to open the third eye of wisdom and intuition? How can I activate the power of Petah to be a creative one? And so on. You have to study to know the ritual and the ceremonies related with this power. The prayers, the invocations, the Egyptian hikau. Hikau in ancient Egypt equal the word mantra today. So we have ancient Egyptian mantra for each power, for each god and goddesses. We have prayer, we have invocations, we have spiritual celebrations, included essence, oils, and sacred symbols. So you have to know what kind of mantra should I repeat it at, and what kind of essence or oil should I burn at while I pray, while I invoke, while I chanting, and what is the Egyptian symbol should I hold when I pray? So you have to study and know their ceremony, rituals, prayers, invocation, chanting, mantras, celebration, and the tools that you use look like essence and oils and sacred symbols and so on. Then the fifth step to discover the divine power within you. You have to know about sacred places and how you benefit from each place. The healing power of the pyramids. We have more than 100 pyramids in the land of Egypt. Each pyramid has different healing power. So you have to know what is the benefit, the healing power of Giza pyramids, healing power of Saqqara pyramids, healing power of Dahshur pyramids, and also the temples and the kind of healing of each temple. Some temples heal you in the level of emotional. Some temples healing you in the level of spiritual. Some temples healing you in the level of physical. So each pyramid temple has a mission. The healing and therapeutic energy of each pyramid and temple in the level of body, soul, and spirit. So you have to know and search about the healing centers, the most famous healing centers in ancient Egypt. Giza Plateau, Saqqara, and Komombo Phila temple. This is the four most famous and energetic and healing therapeutic centers in ancient Egypt. So you have to study what kind of healing that happened in these places. The final step in the path to discover the divinity by ancient Egyptian style, ancient Egyptian school of healing and spirituality, you have to know the healing energy of Egyptian symbols. You have to study deeply the healing power of ancient Egyptian symbols. We have a lot of symbols, more than 23 symbols, and the symbols has a healing power that make what we call today neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming. This is the power of Egyptian symbol. That treatment of our element. Some symbols stimulate and balance our earth element. Some of them symbols stimulate and balance water element. Some of them air and fire. So we have key of life. We have jet pillar. We have was scepter. We have scarab. We have a lot of kind of symbols, and each symbol has its power, its effect, its healing in a kind level of our four elements. So if you study how to use each symbol, you can use it in healing yourself and to help other heal themselves. So all these steps we have to know, to study, to meditate in each step of this steps. So the path is a big path. We have to do our best to study each step and understand deeply each step and how we benefit from each knowledge we gain in our path of Egyptian school of spirituality. And each part will develop yourself, will develop your life, will make you more success, more happy, more calm, more peace, more success, more clever, more everything you want and everything you wish in your life. So this is the Egyptian school. Let's start to speak about the most famous divine power, the most famous gods and goddesses from ancient Egypt. But we will enter at the same link again because the first time is ended now. We will enter at the same link and continue our lecture.